Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight we're gathering as a capital city, but also as a nation, to remember the victims and the survivors of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Salt Lake City, we remember the 146 residents who have died and the hundreds of thousands who have died nationwide, and millions lost around the world. It's a somber and it's a necessary occasion for us, not only because so many families and communities have lost their loved ones, but because the pandemic is ongoing and there will be more tragedies and loss before it is over. To those who are mourning today and who will mourn forever in some way, I see your grief. There are too many empty seats at our kitchen tables. There's too many phone numbers that now go unanswered. There's too many beloved traditions that will never be the same. Salt Lake City has lost 2 employees to the virus. We think of their teams and their families and their friends. We also remember that our communities of color have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic, experiencing higher infection rates and less access to medical care. Continuously pursuing equity and erasing these disparities is paramount to us moving forward every single day. Tonight, we also recognize the survivors of COVID-19, many of whom continue to experience challenging long-term health effects. Your experience has been real and it is harrowing, and I send you my sincere well wishes for your well-being as you work to rebuild your lives that now feel and look so different. I think too of our frontline healthcare workers who are also survivors in a way. The emotional toll that they've seen and experienced and lengths to which they've pushed themselves in the service of others will be with them for the rest of their careers, but with our community for the rest of our lives. Although it feels perhaps a bit premature to hold this memorial amid an ongoing pandemic, it's imperative that we acknowledge how much has been endured and we recognize how much we've changed as a city and as a nation. Every morning since late December, I check the vaccination state totals for Utah, and I update the numbers on a little letterboard that sits on a shelf behind me and is visible as I attend my Zoom calls throughout the day. Today, I updated those numbers to read 721,029 Utahns who've been vaccinated. That's what I hold on to. It's what gives me hope every day. The promise of better days and the examples of compassion and grace and generosity that we have seen throughout Salt Lake City throughout this pandemic. We're getting through this. We will get through this because we are. And my heart will continue to go out to those who have experienced the tremendous loss even after it is over. I'll turn the time over to Councilmember Erin Mono.
Thank you, Mayor. I bet we all know someone in Salt Lake City who has or has had COVID. It is difficult to imagine someone who hasn't lost a relative or doesn't know somebody who died from it. The virus has spread into neighborhoods of every size and into all corners of the world, leaving unthinkable numbers of families dealing with serious illness and financial hardship. The death toll in the United States alone has surpassed 500,000, a number nearly matching the Americans killed in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam combined. And then there are those who are ill and possibly recovering in isolation. That is why we are honored to take this moment to recognize the people in our city who have lost their lives to COVID, to extend our sympathies to their loved ones and to the sick. On this day, we grieve in public for those who cannot be here, and for those who cannot express their sorrow or be comforted. In other times of epic national loss, such as in wars or 9/11 or in the crisis that is AIDS, we as a country have eventually pulled together. We have confronted the crisis and consoled survivors. But at this time, the nation is deeply divided on some fronts, even while we have a common threat in the pandemic. I am saddened by that barrier, but it can change. This day can be a reminder of the resilient nature of humanity. This day can be a reminder to safely lean on our friends, our families, our communities, as we persevere towards better days. We know COVID can numb us out as we hibernate or mask up and watch the world from indoors, far from touch. So let us imagine the mindset, the strength, the bonds that love and care, that can free us up to conquer the fears which keep us apart. So it is together we face down all that is COVID. This day can be a reminder of the resilient nature of us all. Thank you.